You're 15, riding the glass elevator at the mall, watching the counterweight slide past on the other side of the shaft. 2 decades later, you sign the papers selling your elevator service company for $570 million. Between those two moments sits a trade most people never see. The highest paid building trade in America, hidden in pits and machine rooms behind a locked door. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts the median wage at $106,580, and the top earners clear far more. Somewhere above the food court, a tech is charging the mall $300 to clear a stuck car. There are more than 1 million elevators in the country, and almost nobody who rides them knows who keeps them running. This is every level of an elevator mechanic's career in America, and what it actually costs to climb. If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Level 1. The hobbyist. You're 15 and nobody pays you anything. Your tools come from a hand-me-down socket set and a multimeter you bought with lawn money. You wire a doorbell transformer in the garage and it works on the second try. You rebuild a lawnmower engine and it coughs, then catches, then idles. You ride the glass elevator at the mall and watch the counterweight drop while the car climbs. You want to know why the heavy thing on the rope makes the whole lift feel weightless. So you build your own. You pick the strongest beam in the treehouse, sling a pulley over it, reeve a rope through the block, tie off a toolbox and haul. The first pull, the box swings sideways and cracks against the ladder. You retie the load closer to the rope, and the second pull runs straight up. You cleat it off and let go. The toolbox hangs there, 8 feet up and stays. That's the whole trade, though you don't know it yet. You read about the brake that catches a falling car the instant the rope lets go. You order a home dumbwaiter kit and bolt the motor to a plywood frame. You cut a hole in a floor you probably shouldn't have. Your mother is not thrilled. You grease the chain with 3-in-1 oil and run the car up and down until the smell sticks to your hands. You stop riding elevators and start watching them. At a friend's office tower, you find the machine room door and press your ear to it. You don't get in. Not yet. Every Saturday you take something apart. A bike chain, a winch, a garage door opener, and put it back together faster than the week before, until your hands stop asking permission. Then it's quiet again. The trades start to look better than a desk, and you decide the next thing you lift is going to pay you. Level 2. The probationary apprentice. You're 19, and now somebody pays you at 50% of a mechanic's rate. Getting here was harder than getting promoted will ever be. NW Labor Press counted 713 applicants for one Portland local in a single year. Most of them never got the call. The next year, the union capped applications at 750, and the list filled in under 2 days. You're in. You're also the lowest person on the crew. You hump material off the truck, stage tools, sweep the pit, and hold the dumb end of the tape. Your day starts at 5:30, and you're the first man in. You barricade the opening at the top floor, fish a lifeline over the hoist beam with a long curved pole, clip into your harness, foot the fiberglass ladder, and climb to set the hoist on the beam. From there, you lower the rails into the pit, section by section. You carry climb pliers, Knipex, and a Greenlee bender, and you learn what each one is for by being handed the wrong one. You drop the tape end into the pit, and you go down the ladder to get it while the crew waits. You set the next barricade clean, and the foreman doesn't say anything, which is how you know it was right. A woman named Desalia Gomes came into a Boston local through a pre-apprenticeship program. She said, "It makes me really proud to have something I was aiming for." Your first check clears, and you cash it the same day. You start showing up before the foreman does. You take the probationary safety course online at night, and you learn lockout, tagout, and how to fall without dying. You pass it, and the drug screen, and the probation clock starts. Then, back to the pit. By year's end, you read a job site by sound. The ring of threaded pipe, the draft off an open hoistway, the foreman's curse right before you do something stupid. Now the real apprenticeship starts, and it's measured in thousands of hours. Level 3. The apprentice. The grunt work earned you a number, 8,000 hours on the job, 600 in a classroom. You go to class 1 night a week and crawl hoistways the other 5. You learn to set guide rails with a rail gauge and a plumb bob until the car rides true. You cut and thread your own pipe, and the threader screams every time. You wire a hydraulic tank unit and learn that a fluid under pressure pushes everywhere at once. You meg the wiring with a Mego ammeter before you trust it. You practice on a virtual lab packed with faults, hundreds of ways for a simple car to fail. Then you do it for real. You rig the hoist and lower the jacks into the pit. You set the starter rails, build a car sling, and ride it up on temporary power, stacking rails as you climb. You land the controller at the second floor and wire the selector. You set one rail a hair out of plumb, and the car shudders every pass, so you loosen the bracket and reset it until it's silent. A guy on your crew skips the lockout, and the temp power bites his hand. You never skip it again. You ride along on an entrapment call. The building pays $300. The mechanic clears the fault in 90 seconds, and you start to understand where the money actually is. Then, the worst day. You're on the running platform, 50 feet up the hoistway, both hands on a rail section. Your boot slides off the wet steel and you go. The harness snaps tight against the bracket and stops you with a crack you feel in your ribs. You hang there in the dark, swinging, breathing, the same kind of safety you read about as a kid. The thing that catches a falling car just caught you. You climb back up, finish the rails, and you don't tell your mother. You stop looking down. The bruise fades. The lesson doesn't. After years of it, you sit for the mechanic exam, and a proctor hands you the paper in a quiet room. Everything you bruised a rib learning is on it. You pass. They call it getting turned out. The room is the same size on the way out. You started this level holding the dumb end of a tape, and you end it holding a license that says you can run a job alone. The training wheels come off in level 4, and so does the safety net. Level 4. The mechanic. You're turned out, and you run a route alone. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts the median at $106,580. The National Association of Home Builders found it's the only construction trade to crack the country's top 20 highest-paid jobs. You did it without a degree and without going into debt for one. A new car costs the building $50,000 a landing. The contract to keep it running costs $2,400 a year. The money was never in the install. It's in the maintenance. Your truck is a parts store and a toolbox, service laptop, handheld tool, rope gripper, and a governor you'll test by hand. You service Otis, KONE, Schindler, and TK Elevator. Every brand on your route, each with its own locked software. The radio goes off. Car stuck between floors, people inside. Somebody hits 911 before they think to hit the alarm. You arrive and talk to them through the doors first. You go to the machine room, find the car's position on the controller, and move it to the nearest landing on inspection. You release the doors, reset the fault, then ride the car twice before you call it cleared. A passenger panics and claws at the gap. You keep talking, and they go still until the doors open. You sign the log and move to the next call. The building pays $300 for the callback. You're inside for 9 minutes. An Army veteran named Casey Planchon turned out as a KONE mechanic in San Antonio. He put it plainly, "I knew that I wanted to work outside and do something with my hands." A building manager starts asking for you by name. You stop reaching for the manual. Then the radio again. Some days are 5 callbacks and a sandwich eaten in a machine room that smells of hot oil. Other days, 1 safety test and a quiet ride home in a clean truck. You're fast now. You're also doing the same work for the same scale as everyone who turned out with you. The union contract sets the pay, not how well you negotiate. The ones who climb past this stop turning wrenches and start turning dials. That's level 5. Level 5. The adjuster. Not everyone has the touch, and the ones who do sit at the top of the scale. The top 10th of the trade clears $149,250. The bottom 10th, $54,720. The gap is mostly what's in your head, not your back. You don't haul rails anymore, you tune cars. Your tools are a laptop, a handheld, a tachometer, an oscilloscope, and a ride quality meter that reads the bumps your body can't. On a new car, you verify the safeties first. You balance the car against the counterweight, hang test weights, and run a learn trip so the controller maps the shaft. Then you tune the speed curve, set the leveling floor by floor, and tune the doors until they close without a thud. Last, you ride it with the meter taped to the floor and read the numbers off your screen. You shave the jerk out of the takeoff, and the ride goes glassy. You dial the leveling to a fraction of an inch, and the car lands dead even with the floor. No step, no stumble. A TK elevator adjuster in Miami named Xavier Rivera teaches this for the apprenticeship program now. He says, anybody can do this. Take your time, find an interest in what you're doing. A man named George Strakash came into Otis as a construction helper and climbed all the way to adjuster, then wrote the book, The Trade Still Reads. You stop watching the car and start feeling it, one hand on the rail, reading the run through your palm. When you sign the car off, the best review you'll ever get is that nobody mentions the ride at all. Then the doors close, soft. The whole skill is making a $1 million machine start and stop so cleanly that no rider ever thinks about the person who tuned it. It's the one job in the building where doing it perfectly means nobody notices you did it at all. Some adjusters stay adjusters for life. You don't. You want the truck to have your name on it. That's level 6. Level 6. The mechanic in charge. You stop being the best hand on the crew and start running it. You bid modernizations, manage the routes, and answer for every callback your crews miss. A full modernization runs from $150,000 into the millions. You learn the elevator safety code, a 17.1, first written in 1921 and rewritten ever since. The inspector's license costs $1,295, and you pay it so you can sign off your own work. Your tools are estimating software, a codebook, inspection forms, and a fleet of trucks you bought one at a time. A modernization starts with the survey of the old car. You write the scope, bid the new controller and fixtures, and schedule the shutdown. Your crew demos the old controls and sets the new controller and selector, and you adjust it yourself out of habit. Then the inspector walks it. You bid it tight and win it, and your crew brings it in on schedule. The inspector signs off on the first pass, and the building renews its contract. A superintendent named Bob Kobisic ran his Cleveland local longer than anyone, long enough to be handed his service pin as the man who'd held the card the longest. You hire your first apprentice and watch him drop the dumb end of the tape, same as you did. You stop turning the wrench and start signing the payroll. The machine room runs hot. It always did. The view from here is a yard of trucks with your name on the doors, a whiteboard full of jobs, and a phone that never stops. But trucks and crews aren't the prize. The prize is the contract book and what someone will pay for it. That's level 7. Level 7. The owner. The whole climb was, for one thing, a book of maintenance contracts somebody else wants to buy. Recurring monthly revenue is what private equity pays multiples for, and the elevator service market is fragmented enough to roll up. So you do what the winners do. You buy smaller shops, 15 of them over the years, and fold their contracts into yours. You buy a struggling competitor's route, and your monthly revenue jumps overnight. Your net revenue climbs to $220 million. Then a buyer comes. You open your audited books and your contract book, and you negotiate the term sheet line by line. The buyer reads your recurring revenue and raises the offer twice before you sign. You sign the closing documents, and the wire clears. The number on the wire, $570 million. That's about 12.9 times what the company earned in a year. $570 million for the company. $300 for the callback that started it. This isn't a fantasy. A Tampa company called Elevated sold for about that much to a firm called API Group. Another owner, John Marshall, built a Maryland shop called Action Elevator from nothing and sold it to a private equity firm. The wire clears on a Tuesday morning, and your phone goes quiet for the first time in years. You stop checking the trucks at night. The lot is full. Everything's where it should be. The kid who watched a counterweight in a mall sold a company built on one boring fact. Every one of 1 million elevators needs somebody to keep it running. And then you have to decide what the climb was actually worth. Here's the part nobody tells you at the bottom. Nobody paid $570 million for elevators. They paid for the contract book, the promise that 1 million machines keep needing you, month after month, forever. The wrench was never the asset. The recurring revenue was. You still ride the glass elevator at the mall sometimes. You watch the counterweight slide past, same as you did at 15. Only now you know exactly what it's for, and your company holds the contract on the car you're standing in. Back at the shop, the kid you just hired is riding along on a callback. The building pays $300. He clears the fault in 90 seconds. The same 90 seconds you watched a stranger work 20 years ago. He doesn't know yet where the money really is. He will. The climb took your 20s and most of your 30s, a few birthdays you can't get back. You do it the same way again. You don't crawl hoistways anymore. You don't have to. The truck keys hang on a hook by the door. Dozens of sets, and not one of them is yours to drive. You started at the bottom of a shaft you weren't allowed into. Now there's a locked machine room door in every building you pass, and you own the key to a few hundred of them. The work is the same as it was at level 1. Make the heavy thing go up and stay up. You're just not the one tying the rope anymore. On the way out of the mall, you press the call button out of habit. The doors open clean, level with the floor, no step, no stumble. A perfect ride somebody on your crew tuned this morning. You step on, the counterweight slides down past the glass, and the car lifts you up. Smooth, silent, and yours.